Hey guys, what's up? It's Ken Kowalski at Second 50 Strong, and today we're going to talk about the #1 reason why men over 50 need to strength train. And it's not what you think it is. Let's do this. Alright guys, when we all grew up, we were strength training and exercising to get bigger muscles, to look better, to feel better about ourselves. You know, we did it so we could improve in our athletic competitions and honestly just to get the girls, right? We wanted to look good. But as we got older, things started to change in our lives where new responsibilities started to kick in. And now in our 50s, some of the biggest responsibilities we've been dealing with are making money, right? Advancing our career, advancing our jobs, supplying money and protection and supporting our family to be able to allow our children to grow up and have a good life. And that has taken the front seat, and exercise and strength training has absolutely taken the back seat, right? Now, with everything going on in the world today, we're getting news from every corner of the world instantly. We have entertainment on our phones in front of us all day long. We can watch Hulu, Netflix, be on social media. All of those exciting things make exercise and strength training look very boring, right? Very plain, very dull to go down into a gym and work out when there are so many more fun things we could be doing instead. And the big kicker is that exercise and strength training is voluntary, right? The underlying pinning of strength training and exercise is discomfort, right? It's painful. It's hard work. It's effort. It's not fun. It's difficult. And we're not even getting paid for it, right? Like, it's voluntary. So why are we doing this if we're not even going to get paid when when our big priorities are still making money and advancing our career so we can support our family? And you know, 25 years ago, if you told this to me, I'd think you were crazy. You know, I wouldn't agree with you at all, but at least I'd understand where you were coming from, right? I'd get it. I would get why you were saying these things, even though I wouldn't really agree with you. But now, in the world of medical science, with their discovery of what is really going on with strength training, you're going to think you're crazy for not exercising anymore. And that new discovery are myokines. Myokines are little proteins that are released from the muscles when we work them hard, when we contract them. It doesn't matter if we're bicycling, swimming, Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting. It doesn't matter. As long as we're working our muscles hard, our muscles actually create and secrete these proteins. And they're like little chemical messengers that then go off in our blood and land in other areas of our body and send them a message, right? That's what they do. Muscle is no longer just being thought of as contractile tissue because it actually also acts as a gland. It secretes something that goes into our system and affects other areas of our body. And now our muscle is being called our largest organ of our body now. It's not just contractile tissue anymore. So these myokines are being discovered more and more on a regular basis. They started about 25 years ago, maybe a little longer, and they now have 3,000 myokines that they are discovering. They don't even know what they all do, right? That's the exciting thing about this, is they don't even know what they do yet. But 3,000 myokines they're finding receptors for these all over the place, and what happens when these myokines connect to the receptors in these areas. So now let's look at this slide that I took from a scientific article called Muscle Organ Crosstalk, the Emerging Role of Myokines. It was done in 2020 by Severinsen and Pedersen in the Journal of Endocrine Review. So let's take a look. Here in the center is this little muscle, which is contracting, right? And it also affects itself by making itself get bigger. But what it really does is sends message out to these areas of the body. And look, we've got your brain, we've got your GI system, we've got blood vessels, we've got skin, we've got your liver, we've got your immune system, we've got your pancreas, all of these things that actually get affected when these myokines are released from your muscles and have them do a certain thing. So let's talk about some of these. Now, the number one most important area of our bodies that are receiving messages from these myokines is our brain, right? Our brain runs everything. It's nerve central, right? It's the boss of everything that happens inside of our body. And these myokines, I'm not going to get into all of the names of the myokines because I really hate big words, but some of these myokines go to the brain and actually have parts of the brain get bigger. Not many, there's about 2 right now that we know of that are actually able to get bigger because they still have active stem cells in them when our myokines are released from exercise, from hard work. And one of them is the hippocampus, okay? The hippocampus does 2 major things. It helps us learn and remember things, right? It takes short-term memory, turns it into long-term memory, and helps us acquire and learn new information. Now, what does dementia and Alzheimer's do? Well, it stops us from learning and getting new memories, right? We have no ability to do that. So these myokines come in and help this hippocampus work better to allow us to have better job getting more memory and learning more. How does it do it? The hippocampus actually grows, okay? They did studies after 3 months of exercise. One of the studies that people biked, I think, for 3 months straight, they did a stationary bicycle, and the hippocampus grew by 12% in these humans. Guys, our brains are locked inside this tight room of our skull. There's not a lot of growing room in there. There's not a lot of wiggle room. So 12% growth is enormous. That to have that increase in size in this area of our brain that allows us to learn things and remember better is absolutely phenomenal. And that happens as a direct result from exercise and strength training releasing these myokines. Second big one is fat. Now, I know all about the social conditioning that we're in right now where we're told to love ourselves and love our big bodies and big is beautiful and it's okay to be fat and fat shaming is bad. And I agree, great, fat shaming is bad. But there is no escaping the fact, none at all, that all medical research shows having fat on your body increases your risk for cardiovascular disease, for cancer, for diabetes, for localized chronic inflammation, right? For all-cause mortality, meaning you're just gonna die from something. And if you have extra fat on your body, that's gonna happen to you sooner, right? It doesn't even matter what you're gonna die from. You're just gonna die quicker if you've got extra fat on your body. Billions and billions of dollars are being spent by our medical industry to treat people who have direct related problems to being obese and overweight. So yeah, if you're overweight, love yourself. But loving yourself means choosing not to harm yourself anymore by being overweight and being fat. And loving yourself when you're overweight means trying to lose it and trying to get skinny so you can treat your body better and have a healthier, better life. How do these myokines affect our fat on our body? One of the main things that they do when they're released by the muscles when we're exercising is they turn white adipose tissue, white fat tissue, into brown fat tissue. White fat tissue is a lot harder for us to metabolize as energy for some reason. When that white fat tissue gets browned through these mechanisms of these myokines, it's much easier to utilize as fat. So now that you're exercising and you're strength training and your white fat tissue is getting turned into brown fat tissue, now when you rake the yard, when you're stacking your wood, when you're mowing the lawn, you have a better ability to burn that fat off of your body because that fat is more usable as energy, and that's due to these myokines connecting with those fat cells. Next, bones, okay? When we work out, these myokines that get sent out from our muscles help make our bones more dense by attracting bone building molecules, which is really important, guys, because people in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond we're still weekend warriors, right? I remember my grandfather still pointing his chimney with the mortar at 90 on a huge ladder. But, people fall off of ladders. Things fall on top of them, right? I know 60, 70-year-olds who still go skiing. If you fall, if you take a tumble, you want strong bones that can be able to support themselves so you don't dramatically change your life for the worse. And another thing about bones is your wife, your woman, right? Your lady. If she starts getting broken bones, she needs to exercise to strengthen her bones as well, because if she's getting compression fractures in her vertebrae or broke her hip or whatever due to having brittle, more frail bones, she's not going to have as much fun with you in life after 50 years. She's not going to have as much sex with you later in life, right? Your guy's life isn't going to be as much of an adventure together if she's breaking her bones because she wasn't doing enough exercise to release these myokines. So really big for the both of you with bone density. The next one I want to talk about is your stomach, okay? When these myokines are released, one of the things they do is they make your stomach empty slower. Now, this is great for two major reasons. One, when we eat things that are either sugary or, like simple carbs, turn into sugar, it spikes our blood sugar, right? Our blood sugar goes way up. Well, that'll kill us, right? When that's poison. Sugar's poison, guys. You shouldn't be eating it. I don't eat it. You shouldn't be eating it. It's just bad for you. Our bodies were never designed to eat processed sugar. So when we do eat it, or refined flour that gets turned into sugar in our bodies, that process even starts in our saliva, it spikes our blood sugar and our bodies go into DEFCON 5, right? They are in damage control mode. They get the pancreas to release insulin, which gets into your bloodstream, which gets all that sugar out, because if they didn't, it'd kill you. And out of there goes into your cells, goes into your livers, goes into your muscles, goes all over the place, gets stored as fat, big problem there. And then your blood sugar is really low. And then when your blood sugar is really low, you get hungry, and so it all goes. And that spike of blood sugar, drop of blood sugar, spike of blood sugar, drop of blood sugar, what happens is that makes you metabolically unhealthy as that gets repeated over time. And medical science is realizing more and more how metabolic unhealthiness is such an underlying cause for so many problems, right? So we want to be able to, as the myokines slowly empty our stomach slower, then that spike in sugar starts to round out. It's not so intense, making our pancreas not have to work so hard. We don't have to have so much insulin, and makes us metabolically healthier because it comes out at a slower rate and doesn't spike so bad. The other great thing about having our stomachs empty slower is that we don't get hungry as fast, which is great. We're all eating too much, right? We don't work hard anymore. Most of us don't. We eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner to do what? Sit at the office, sit down when we're working, drive places sitting down, right? Sit down to come home and eat and relax. Like, we're not working as hard as we used to. We don't need to eat 3 times a day. I don't even know where that 3 times a day thing came from. It's just so foolish to eat when you don't need it, right? So when our stomachs empty slower, it makes us want to eat less, which is more actually in tune to eating when we need to, not when we want to. And those myokines help with that by helping our stomach empty slower. The next thing, talking about the pancreas, is these myokines actually strengthen the pancreas and keep it healthier by attaching directly to the beta cells in the pancreas, which are the ones that produce that insulin. Well, when we get diabetes, the major problem is our pancreas isn't working like it's supposed to anymore. It's not doing its job getting all of the sugar out of our blood time after time after time, so that that sugar starts wreaking havoc in our system and in our blood vessels. So when we exercise and strength train and these myokines come out, they actually literally go straight to the pancreas, attach to the beta cells, make them stronger, fortify them, and help them grow even bigger so they can do a better job getting that insulin out anytime we need it. The next one is immune system. When we work out, when we exercise, these myokines come in and help regulate our very vast, complex immune system. I love my immune system. It is a bunch of armies inside my body, ready to fight, go crazy, and kill whatever bad invader wants to come inside of my body. It's got assassins that are kind of working their way around our body, finding and killing things that aren't supposed to be there. It's got like suicide bombers or kamikaze bombers that when they find something that's bad, they envelop the whole thing and just blow themselves all up with these enzymes that just kill everything in that area just to keep us healthy. So I want to do everything I can to keep my immune system as healthy as possible because I want to have this kick butt military inside of me that's ready to destroy any bad guy. And there are plenty of bad guys out there that want to come in and rob and use our resources inside of our body. And I want my immune system kicking the crap out of them. When we exercise and when we strength train, we have myokines that attach to parts of our immune system. This one's complicated, but parts to our immune system that help regulate it, make it stronger, but also stop it from having this low-grade inflammation throughout our body. Now, inflammation is caused by the immune system, right? Inflammation is your immune system being pissed off. That's what it is, right? So as we exercise and strength train, these myokines help regulate our immune system to decrease our overall inflammation. And once again, medical science is realizing that this low-grade, chronic, long-term inflammation that many of us live with cause these chronic diseases that are so preventable that we don't need to get when we get older, that are a result of us living with this low-grade, long-term inflammation, this systemic inflammation throughout our whole body. And the myokines, when we exercise, help mitigate all of that. Next, skin. Oh my God, here we go. Skin. When we exercise, we have myokines that attach to our skin that actually stop our skin from aging. And not only that, if we have aging skin, they'll actually reverse it. Okay? There's this wonderful book out there called Younger Next Year. And it was written by this board-certified internist doctor who would take people in their 70s and 80s and make them exercise hard on a regular basis. One of his taglines was, when the day you retire, your new job is working out. That's it. Your new job is exercise on the day you retire. And he would take these people and make them work out all the time and turn them into whitewater rafters and rock climbers and mogul skiers in their 70s and 80s. And the premise of the book was, if you work out on a very regular basis, you will feel, act, and look younger next year compared to what you do right now. And part of that is the reason that these myokines actually make your skin younger. I mean, he was right. It's absolutely amazing. The last one is cancer, I want to talk about today. There are myokines that, one of them is called oncostatin, right? We all know oncology is the study of cancer, the treatment of cancer, that are known to decrease and inhibit cancer cell growth in your body. Certain cancer cell growth in your body, that when they attach to those tumors, just by exercising. Now, this isn't crazy because medical science has known forever that exercise and strength training not only decreases your risk for getting cancer, but if you have cancer, it actually increases your survival rate dramatically. And part of that is due to these myokines that are released by your muscles that go out and attach to these cancerous areas and stop them from growing, which is absolutely amazing. Guys, I'm not making any of this stuff up. This is all real, and it's even bigger than this, right? I'm just basically citing things from one study. And don't take my word for it. Google it. You know, I never want you to believe just me. I want to spur you to educate yourself. So it's myokines, myokines. Look it up, Google it, figure all of this stuff out and how amazing it actually is, and know that it makes exercise and strength training the magic pill. that most people don't want to swallow. It really is the magic pill, but not you anymore. Now you want to take this magic pill because you know how absolutely amazing it is. And why does it work? Why does it work so well? It's because we are in survival mode. That's never changed. People that have looked like us have been walking this planet for about 200,000 years or more. And back then, us men, us guys, in order to keep our clan alive, had to hunt, build, defend, fight, procreate, all of these things to keep our little families, our clans alive and support them. These things, besides procreating, were very difficult to do. We struggled every day. It wasn't easy to build with giant rocks. It wasn't easy to kill giant animals, right? It wasn't easy to defend ourselves from other clans that wanted to take everything that we had. But we had to do it on a regular basis. And because of that, we struggled and strained and stressed our bodies every single day. And our bodies knew that when this was happening, this was the chemical trigger to say, I need to be better. I got a clan I need to support. I need to be faster. I need to be healthier. My vision needs to be better. My hearing needs to be better. I need to be quicker. I need to be able to process my environment faster with my thinking. I need to be able to run. I need to do all of these things better so I can survive. And that is the male version of survival mode. And when we were doing these things and our body was biochemically getting all of these messages from our muscles, it was building us up because we were worthy of the limited resources our clans had. When we stopped doing these things, when we stopped hunting, fighting, building, defending, protecting, procreating on a regular basis, our bodies realized that we weren't needed anymore and we were using valuable resources from our clan and we were becoming our liability. So when we stopped giving our bodies these messages of stress, strain, struggle on a regular basis, our bodies decided to shut themselves down. And they do that by another myokine, which is actually one of the first ones they ever really discovered, called myostatin. When we are inactive, when we are sedentary, when we choose to take the elevator over the stairs, when we choose to take the closest parking spot to the store we want to go to, and we are doing less with our bodies, our muscles are producing and releasing a myokine that makes our muscles weaker and smaller. That's what it does. Well, what do weaker and smaller muscles have less capacity to do? Release these wonderful myokines to keep us healthy and strong. So it's this self-producing prophecy of this downward spiral of smaller muscles are releasing, inactive muscles are releasing a myokine that are making them smaller, which is making them be able to do less, which is making them release it even more, which is making them to do less. And we shut our bodies down to not waste the resources of our clan, step aside, die, and let the new males come in who are oh so eager to take over and lead for us, right? This happens in short time relatively. And if you think I'm being crazy or Chicken Little, look around. This is something I realized about 20 years ago when I talked about how like the film was finally cleared from my eyes to realize how men are declining so rapidly when they should not. Do this. Look around at all of the men you know in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. How many of them, if not for their medications or some kind of life-saving medical procedure that they got done, how many of them would be dead right now? A lot of them. More than half, way more than half, would be dead right now if it wasn't for our advanced medical system. Like we like to brag that our life expectancy is, for men it's, in the high 70s, and we think that's all wonderful, but our real life expectancy, if it wasn't for our medical system pumping us up with these medications to keep us alive or giving us our heart bypass or whatever other surgery we need because of these chronic conditions, we'd be dead. So many men in their 60s, 70s, and 80s would be dead already because the medical profession puts all of their effort on quantity of life and not quality of life, right? So they'll just keep moving guys along, keeping them alive and alive and alive. And I have seen over the years, they're miserable. They're not even enjoying the fruits of their labor anymore. They're frail, they're debilitated. Their bodies don't even work right anymore because they stopped stressing, straining, and struggling, and that myokine, myostatin loop is making their bodies shut down, and they would have been long dead if it wasn't for the medical system keeping them just alive for the sake of keeping them alive. That's the problem. So with that, now we know what exercise truly is. Exercise shows our bodies that life is still difficult, that we still need to struggle and strain and stress our bodies to survive. Thank God our bodies don't know the difference between hunting a woolly mammoth and getting in a power rack and getting some squats done, right? It's all strain, stress, and struggle. Thank goodness it's basically the same thing to our bodies. They release the same positive chemicals, and we get to get stronger another day. We get to be better and healthier another day. And why do I keep pushing strength training over exercise, right? I love exercise. You want to bike, bike. You want to run, run, swim, whatever you want to do. But it all needs to be underneath a foundation of strength training, because strength training makes your muscles bigger. Bigger muscles release more of these positive myokines that land on your brain and your pancreas and your skin and your bones and your blood vessels. I don't even think I mentioned the blood vessel one. I kind of forgot to. It's amazing. Myokines are released from your muscles that actually heal the inside of your blood vessels. That's huge. That decreases our chance of heart attack and stroke, which is amazing, right? So that's why we want bigger muscles. So we strength train. So when you have larger muscles, and you'll be able to release more of these myokines, then stacking wood makes you more healthy. Raking the yard makes you more healthy. Mowing the lawn makes you more healthy because you're using these muscles and they're bigger, so they're producing more. If you had 10 people in a room that were making a product that was helping humanity, and it was the greatest thing ever, wouldn't you want more than 10 people? Wouldn't you want 100, 1,000, 100,000 people making this incredible product? Our muscles make 3,000 incredible products that are helping our bodies in ways we still don't even know how altogether. And why don't we want more of that? Well, of course we do. The easiest way to get more of that is by strength training and getting stronger and creating more muscle. Let alone the fact that increased strength has been shown for decades to be a major precursor of longevity and higher quality of life, right? Grip strength being a very important indicator of heart health. The ability to squat down onto the floor and get back up again, very big indicator of life longevity. Walking speed, big indicator of life longevity. Everything that requires strength and larger muscles. Not also to mention that strength is the number one most important thing for any man to have. Men, we are valued for what we can give and do. Sorry, younger generation, you're not valued for how you feel. You're not valued for what you think. You're not valued for how special you think you are. Nobody cares about any of that. Society cares what you can give and what you can do. And in our regular physical environment, that will boil down to you being strong. The stronger you are, the more you can give and do on a regular basis. So strength training is the underpinning of everything, especially to allow more of these myokines to come out and make all of these other parts of your body healthy. So that's the number one reason right there why men over 50 must exercise, is now you realize exercise just isn't this boring, dull, physical activity. It's an exciting, building, biochemical activity. And it's triggered by the difficulty that we like to avoid. It's triggered by the pain, the struggle, the suffering, the difficulty of it all. That's what makes those wonderful chemicals, those wonderful proteins released into our bodies. So it's time now, you and me, we do not avoid that sensation. We welcome that sensation, because that's what's keeping us younger and healthier as adult men later in their 50s. So that's it, guys. This is Ken Kowalski, Second 50 Strong. Get strong as hell, redefine your prime, and I will see you next time.